Lying Chinese spotted on the Dam in Amsterdam. This is your favorite half Chinese, and we're going to dive directly into it. He is going to talk a little bit in a little bit broken Dutch, but that's fine. I'm going to translate it piece by piece for you so you will understand what it is about. There we go.
Beste vrienden en kameraden, goedemiddag allemaal. Ik ben Velo, ik kom uit Cantonia. En ik ben een politieke gevangene.
So he is claiming that he is from Cantonia. Here you also see it on the flag, Cantonia Independence. Anybody can tell me where Cantonia exactly is? Because this was actually, it was the second time I ever heard of it. The first time I heard of it, I thought somebody was trolling me. He posted a map of China, and all the provinces had a different name all of a sudden. And one of them was Cantonia, I remember. Anyway, he is also claiming that he is a political prisoner. Yeah. He seems a little bit too free, standing right on the Dam Square in Amsterdam. It doesn't look like in prison. He also doesn't have shackles on. But anyway, those are two lies in one. One, he's from Cantonia. Cantonia doesn't exist. And two, that he's a political prisoner. Before we go any further, please smash that like right now, subscribe, and also comment your thoughts below. Thank you.
Cantonia lives in northern Hong Kong. For the Mason is Cantonese, the mother. So
he says that Cantonia is at the north of Hong Kong, and Cantonese is their language. But that's quite odd because Cantonese is a Chinese dialect which comes from the area of Guangdong, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, in Hong Kong they also speak Cantonese, but that's also China, and we're going to prove that in a moment.
Country, van Hong Kong starts. Dit is ons verschil met de Chinezen.
So he claims that their culture of Cantonia is very close to the culture of Hong Kong. Therefore, that is the difference between them and Chinese, which is the most weirdest thing, because I think everybody understands that Hong Kong is Chinese and the culture from there is actually Chinese. It is a little bit mixed over the years because of due to colonization, but it's still, nonetheless, it's still Chinese. When I grew up with my friends from Hong Kong, everybody was calling themselves Chinese. Similar goes from the people from Taiwan.
Cantonia is a plucked land.
It's so beautiful, Cantonia. It's at the sea with a lot of islands. And they can cook really, really well. Cantonese people can cook really well. That is really, really true. I think it's the most highly appreciated kitchen in the Chinese cuisine. But maybe that is also because it is so familiar, especially in the West. But I must admit, I'm not going to lie, the Cantonese kitchen is really, really good.
In Nederland.
And you obviously, as he said, you have a lot of Cantonese restaurants.
My fatherland, Cantonia.
So he is claiming that 76 years ago, the Communist Party of China occupied Cantonia, his father's land. And then you get the whole thing of whatever happens, and that whatever you understand. I'm not going to. Anyway, that is a big fat lie. We're not even going to entertain it even more because it's quite disgusting. So we're going to go back a little bit in time. We're going to 1842 when the first Opium War was finished. The Brits and China had to sign what they call an unequal treaty. And one of the things in that unequal treaty was that they were forced to cede Hong Kong on a 150-year lease to Great Britain. Why did China, at that time was the Qing Dynasty ruling, why did the Qing Dynasty need to sign off Hong Kong, which is literally in what he is calling Cantonia, because it's in the area of Guangdong, why did he need to sign off on that? Now, if he's going to make the argument that he is meaning Guangzhou, then we are having another treat, because at that time, Lin Zexu, he actually intercepted 1.2 or 1.6 million kilograms of opium at that time, which was illegal at the time in China. However, the dealers of the UK, well, at that time Great Britain, were still shipping it over to China to sell it. And that was actually the start of the Opium War, because he mixed it with lime and something else and then threw it in the sea. A fun fact of it is that at that time he was a Buddhist, and he had to throw it into the sea later after they mixed all the stuff together. And then he was praying at the sea for the fish, because they were throwing it in there for 23 days. And that is actually what triggered the first Opium War. Just amazing. A nice piece of history. But where did he find it? That was also that was also in Guangzhou, right? In the area of Guangzhou. So that also tells you that it is China. Now, I'm going to have the Empire of the Great Qing. That was from that time. This is the map. And as you can see over here is Guangdong, and Guangzhou is here, this little, well, it's not a little city, but on the map it's a little dot, right? So this is exactly where Guangzhou is. And as you can see, the Empire of the Great Qing, everything which is yellow, that's China at that time, right? So that was then. And then after that, you had the revolution, and that was the Republic of China. And the Republic of China later, also another fun fact, after they lost the Civil War, they went to Taiwan, took the lives of all the people that they thought were communists, and then occupied it until this very day. But they called themselves Republic of China until this very day. They never called themselves Taiwan. They called themselves the province Taiwan from the Republic of China. And this is the entire map of their claim until today, right? So now you also understand the one China principle, why you have to say there's only one China, because they call themselves Republic of China, and they are claiming this entire mainland. And as you can see, here is Taiwan, and here you have Guangdong. So, and somewhere here must be Guangzhou, right? So, as you can see, probably here. Yeah, you can see it. I think. I cannot read. But anyway, I think it is quite here. It must be here, Guangzhou. So even if he wants to say that it is Guangzhou that he meant, it is still part of China. If it's not the People's Republic of China, then it will be the Republic of China. Interesting, isn't it? Now, we have the map from China from 2025. And as you can see, again, the Guangdong area is a part of China. There never ever, since the Qing Dynasty, has been a country in this area, because it must be here, because let me see, Xiamen, Hong Kong must be somewhere here. There is never ever a part or a country been in this area that was named Cantonia. It doesn't exist. By the way, if you speak Cantonese, then you also understand that Cantonia is not really something that we put in our Cantonese language. It's just weird, right? So, that was actually a small little video to explain all about these liars. And I also had the pleasure of meeting this person in person, as I was literally there. I had made a video about his colleague who was standing right beside him, right here. But I did not finish his video yet, but I'm going to give you a little preview right now. So we're going to talk a little bit Cantonese. I will also try to translate it to my best of my abilities.
So
Listen closely.
in Cantonese. So what is the difference, right?
Here he comes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cantonese is not Chinese anymore. Why? I'm from Canton, and how come I'm Chinese? 廣州都係中國㗎嘛？唔係，廣州都唔係中國。你啱邊個啊？Are you saying, no, let the lady hear. Are you saying that Canton, Guangzhou is not in China? It's not. Is it? Yes or no?
We want independence.
So he literally wants to deny that Guangzhou is not in China. He literally is lying into it. You can see, I don't know what to do because honestly, I mean, if he would be talking to Dutch people, that okay, whatever. But he knows, I know, right? And still wants to maintain the lie.
This is really.
你可以查下廣東獨立運動，廣東獨立運動。
我冇想要查你教我啊。
係啊，我教。
So I asked him to teach me.
話喺中國。
OK。
Yeah, so I said, yeah, of course, because I want you to teach me because my father and my mother always told me that it was China, right?
係個個人都話係中國，淨係你話唔係中國。
呢個係佢嘅自由，佢認為佢係佢中國人，佢係佢嘅自由。咁我認為我係廣東
Yeah,
人，
yes.
中國人都係我嘅自由，我都係我嘅身份認同。身份認同明唔明啊？咁比如維美人嘥咗。
咁你食飯你係咪用筷子啊？
係咁筷子。
係中央人咪用筷子啊？
係咁筷子。
中央人咪食飯啊？你有冇食飯啊？
食飯。
歷史係咪一樣啊？係咪？
點一樣？
歷史唔係一樣啊？
中國喺清朝之前冇中國呢樣嘢。
搞錯啊！如果你話咧，我唔想做人咧，就 OK 啦。但係你話廣東人都唔係中國人，就梗係唔得㗎啦，冇人唔得。
點解唔得㗎啦？
So he is just like literally idiotic. I'm sorry to say his my little friend, but this kind of I asked him, don't you use chopsticks to eat? Don't you eat rice? So everything you do is what Chinese do. Yet you do not want to say that you're a Chinese. You're from a country that literally never existed, right? So I asked him, isn't the history the same? And he cannot answer it. So now the interesting part is coming.
咁因為中共滲透咗我哋嘅文化，我哋啲細蚊仔係唔識講廣東話，你知唔知？佢哋佔領咗我哋嘅國家，佔領咗我哋嘅領土。
我都未試過，你哋幾多歲啊？我想問。
So now they're going to talk about that the people in Guangzhou, every time little people cannot speak Cantonese anymore or don't speak Cantonese because they have been learning Mandarin. It's just changing the subject. Anyway.
廣東去睇下，仲有幾多2000年之後出世嘅小朋友識講廣東話嘅？幾乎冇。
咁呢啲係另外一回事啦。
呢個我哋嘅領土。
呢個荷蘭咧，你知我同你講啊，呢個。
So they want to change the story to that the people cannot speak Cantonese anymore. But yeah, I told him, if I stop speaking Cantonese, sooner or later I will forget. In fact, if you speak Hakka to me now, it sounds familiar, and a couple of words I will be able to pick up. But most of it, I cannot. I totally forgot. Because why? I haven't been speaking it like for ages, like at least for 25 years. At least a minimum. Haven't spoken a single word of Hakka. Well, not a single word, but sometimes I say Hao Mao. But yeah, that's it. Because I'm scared to talk. I don't know anymore. Last time I was listening to somebody on TikTok. I got back to the subject. And I saw this guy who was really tanned. I think he must also be a mixed Chinese like me. And he was speaking. I was like, that's interesting. This sounds so familiar, but what kind of dialect is it? And then, man, he was a Hakka. So yeah, if you don't speak the language, you will forget eventually. Now, if you're going to speak again, then you will very easy learn it back again. But yeah.
荷蘭啊，以前人哋講話咧都唔同而家啦。
你可以唔同意㗎，你可以唔同意啊！我哋言論自由嚟㗎，你
咁但係
係啊，
咁但係唔係中國人啦？你走去香港啊，你睇下幾多個人食焗魚啊？冇幾多個人啦，對今時今日都好少人都仲講㗎，係嘛？
而家已經係普通話。
如果
So I'm telling him, you go to Hong Kong, there's not a lot of people that really can speak Mandarin very fluently, right? So yeah, he also wants to deny that. Most of my friends don't understand Mandarin that I grew up with, because I grew up with a lot of people from Hong Kong. Now they've been learning a little bit. Because they've been traveling to the mainland a lot. They like it a lot on the mainland, especially for the shopping. But normally, they speak mostly Cantonese.
我住滯喺度啊，係咪？咁如果我唔想再去講廣東話，我都會忘記。咁我要講話中國唔好咩？咁
荷蘭你冇你荷蘭，
咁我要快荷蘭啊！
荷蘭
係嘛？
逼你。荷蘭
係嘛？
荷蘭有
唔係你講笑啊，朋友！
我同你舉荷蘭先，荷蘭有冇話做文明人講荷蘭話嘅？有冇呢個標語？中國有。荷蘭。
So he wants to make it look like that in the Netherlands you are not being forced to speak Dutch, and in China you are forced to speak Mandarin. But that's totally false. So in China, you have to learn standard Mandarin in school. Everybody has to learn it everywhere you go. When you have places where there are certain ethnic minorities who have their own language and are in the majority over there, like in Tibet, for example, or Xinjiang, where the Uyghurs live, right? They also being taught their own language of their group of ethnic groups. But they also need to learn standard Mandarin and English. Nobody is ever talking about that it is bad to teach them English. It is always bad to teach them Chinese while they're living in China. But if you're living in one city and you only know the dialect of that city, it is very hard to go to another place in China and work there, right? So when you learn the standard language, like everywhere in the Western world, then you have more possibilities, right? That's a normal thing. And when we look at the Netherlands, like Friesland, less and less people are speaking Fries. But you cannot blame it on the government. You have to blame it on your own people stopping to speak. Right? It's so ridiculous, but it still doesn't say that the other, what he says calls Cantonia, is a country. They still have not answered this basic question, right? They've not brought evidence. So now I'm going off on him because he says that in the Netherlands it is you're not being forced.
普通話。
荷蘭讀書你一定要講荷蘭話，如果你想落嘅居留，你一定要講荷蘭話，逼你學。如果你唔識講嘅啦，
咯，我哋廣東獨立就要你考嗰個普通。
咁你係如果你係中國，咁你係中國。如果你淨係識講廣東話，你去北京都去唔到。哎呀，慢慢嚟。我哋話。Okay.
And there you see it. I'm telling him here that in the Netherlands, you are also being forced to speak Dutch. Even in school, we are forced to speak Dutch because it's the Netherlands. When you want to have a permit to stay, you are also being forced to speak Dutch. If you cannot speak the language, they will not give you one in today's Netherlands. If you want to have a passport, you are forced to speak Dutch. It's almost in everywhere in the world that you have these kind of rules, right? At least in the Western world, you have a lot of these kind of things. I think it is quite normal. All right, so the claim is of him that somehow it is a country. Well, as you saw, to me, he could not explain it, but he's standing there on a square propagating it to the Dutch people. Now, what is the problem with this person or with this whole thing, what these people that are there? What is happening right now in the Netherlands is the following. You have a group of people that are openly trying to look like sort of activists against the Communist Party in China. The reason why they're doing it is because they're hoping for political asylum. Because we have built up this narrative that if you say a bad thing or criticize the CPC, then, you will be thrown in a camp, right? This is the narrative that we have built up in the West. This is what they are using to get their status and permit to stay in the Netherlands. This is exactly why they're doing it. Of course, he doesn't believe there's a country named Cantonia. He cannot even pronounce it correctly because it's not in the vocabulary of Cantonese. We would never say something Cantonia. Like, how? It doesn't fit. Your tongue gets twisted and trilled all over. But this is actually what they are doing. These people, that is why I call them paid protesters. They all want to get something from it. And while they are doing this, and this is the saddest thing, they are fooling the people in the Netherlands. They are fooling the country, the Netherlands. The very, very country that they are hoping for to get a passport. He also said that he was wanted in China, and I was sent some evidence, although I was not yet, on it, to verify it, so I'm not going to push it on the video. But indeed, if it is correct, then he did some criminal activities in China, not really high offenses, but still. And that is probably why he fled China. I think that he did way more and probably is scared that the thing that they want to have him for is just an excuse for the bigger things that he might have done. I don't know. I don't know the dude, so I'm not going to say it is. It's just a hunch, right? Let me know what you all think of this in the video. Do you, in your country, if you live in the West, also have these kind of groups? These people were, by the way, like I think 2, 3 or 4 groups. Wait. There was one from another Christian part. I heard my friend said that the Vatican also exiled those. It seems to be a cult. I don't know yet. I have not done my research yet. They had the Uyghurs with the 8 IAM flag, you know, and you had the Tibetans, and then it's four. Might have been another group. I know people, Falun Gong, oddly wasn't there. Well, they were there, but they were on the opposite of the square. I was also a little bit, why are they not together? Maybe they have an argument or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that was it for the video. Let me know in the comment section what you all think of this. Do you think this is normal? Do you think the Netherlands should allow them, should grant them asylum, or should they be sent back to face their charges that they are going to have to face? Criminal charges which have been put against them. Do you think that people should be lying about imaginary countries to the people in the Netherlands, while at the same time they want to have a permit to stay? Do you guys think it is a decent thing to do? Let me know in the comment section. But please keep it respectful. We're not uncivilized barbarians, unlike the people who are making up things. I don't know. Not gonna name names, but, you know, making up things like countries or whatever. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day. Your favorite half Chinese.